Hey guys, today we are talking about leveling up a review game that we do with our students. We all have it. We all have those like tests or quizzes, these things that we want to prepare students for, and we use the classic review games of like Jeopardy, maybe one of the new review games like Kahoot or Gimkit. Those are all fabulous, but I wanted to spice up an old review game that I used with my students. It's one that it's one that can be found inside Explore Like a Pirate. It is one of my faves. It's called Danger Cards, but I decided to sit down and sort of think of a different way to use it, different combinations. If this sounds interesting to you, you want to figure out a new review game to use in your class, stick around. All right, thanks guys for sticking around. I'm really excited to talk about these review games. You guys know that I like to sort of make a game, make a day, I should say, a little more interesting. And this game comes from Explore Like a Pirate. If you haven't checked out that book, please do. I'll link it down below. Would love it if you picked one up. There's lots of different activities in that book, big gamification, and then even little gamification like this. This is an activity any of you guys could use. This one's called Danger Cards. And in Danger Cards, it is a great game because it allows some player interaction. And this is something that a lot of other games that we use in school don't allow. So I'm thinking like Jeopardy. There isn't a whole lot of player interaction of who can click the button the fastest. That's it. That's not the greatest player interaction. Danger Cards is full of it. All right, let's take a peek. So I have these envelopes up here, and these envelopes, in each of them, there is a special card. I took one down, and on these cards, there could be lots of things. And what kids are gonna do, they're gonna see this one. Oh, I like this one. This one's a new one that I added, Steal a Player. So, but what I really wanna point out is on the card, the top half of the card has a point value sometimes, and the bottom half has like a special ability that only goes to the team that is in control of the board. The game is a really good one because you don't have to have all the questions generated ahead of time like you might with Jeopardy. You gotta build that board out. This one, you can just open your textbook and come up with different ideas. You could be a math teacher and just generate different problems kind of on the spot. It's super easy to do, and that's one of the flexible things I love about it. You have these cards, you put the point cards into an envelope. Start of the game, kids get to select one of the envelopes to sort of peek at. So here I am at table 4 in my classroom. Table 4 pulls down number 9, and they know what number 9 is, though. They know it is Steal a Player. They then put it back up on that panel of having all of them. I get to ask 2, 3 questions of them, and each table has their own little like dry erase board that they get to write these answers on, and then they dive to the center to like hand in their placard. I pick them up, and first and foremost, you have to be accurate. So if any of them are wrong, they don't get to like qualify for the point round that's going to immediately follow this. Second, whoever handed in first and was all correct has control of the board. What this means in this game means 2 things. One, they get to select what envelope we're gonna pick and actually activate. Second thing is, if there's a bonus at the bottom, which we'll get to different like bonuses in a minute, but if there's a bonus at the bottom, it only goes to the team that is in control of the board. So that's what that means. All right, so the next piece of the game, this is the player interaction. This is where this game just shines. What happens is, every table now who got the answer correct, that has all the answers correct, every single one of them, which remember I only asked 2, 3 questions, I am gonna then ask them, my table 4 here has control of the board, we've pulled this down, we've secretly looked inside the envelope. We're not showing anybody. We're all huddled as a team. We're looking. Some of us are smiling. Some of us are giddy. Some of us are super excited about what we saw in there. Now, we're not supposed to say anything. Team 4, gotta have a stone cold face. I don't know. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I have a poker face, but they're gonna try to have sort of a poker face. And I'm gonna ask Team 1, who had them all correct, and say, Team 1, do you wanna play on that hidden card that you have no clue what it is? Or do you want to pass? And they can solely judge based on the facial expressions, based on the body language of Team 4. And they say, we're gonna take a risk, we're gonna play. And then I ask Team 2, do you want to play or pass on Team 4's card? Now maybe team 2 in the beginning of the game looked at number 9. So maybe team 2 knows what it is. So they say play. Team 4 didn't get all the questions right, so team 4 is just out. They don't get a chance to play or pass on this card. And then it comes to team 4, the one that knows what's the card, the one that selected the card. They sort of reveal if they are playing or passing. And that's sort of this like awesome, like ruckusy sort of moment, because the other tables now realize they've selected wrong or they've selected correctly. That, oh yeah, like they're playing on it, must be like 100 points or whatever. Tabulate the points, and then you repeat. You ask 3 new questions, 2 new questions, whatever, they jot it down, and they dive. Big tip here is when I'm saying ask 2, 3 questions, I'm not saying kind of like you're giving an audio test where you're like, question 1 is, and then you give them 30 seconds to answer it. You just boom, boom, boom. Like, what does Mesopotamia mean? In what language is that word? And, you know, what is the Fertile Crescent? Boom, go. And they're handing it in, all right? So there's this feverish pace. However, accuracy is king. So I like this too. If they're not the first group to get it in, it's okay. They still have some time with their group and their table to sort of figure it out. And then there is a general time limit. But what I like about that is, unlike Kahoot, it isn't just a straight race point, you know, thing. All you get for being the first in is control of that board. Everyone else can still, if they're accurate, can play on your card or pass on your card. So what I love about danger cards are a few things. One, you don't have to have it all prepped out. You can kind of build it in that moment. You're an expert at your content, but you don't have to give up like a whole prep period to build a Jeopardy board. You know your content. You can just kind of stand up there and ask your 3 questions. Boom, 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 boom. They write them, and then we do the next round. And boom, 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 boom. All you gotta do is have those envelopes made, throw them up there with the note cards inside. Love that about danger cards. 2, love that player interaction. I love that tense moment where kids are trying to decide, like, you know, I think he's smirking. I think he's intentionally smirking. You know, I think they're double bluffing us. It's crazy. I love that some groups have different information. So kids that have played this more start to realize we need to sort of jot down what envelope everyone's seeing. So that when it's their turn and they select that envelope and they're super giddy about getting that envelope, we know it's a play or a pass kind of moment, right? So that's kind of cool. One of the things that I wanted to sort of upgrade in this, while this has great player interaction, my standard set was just plus or minus some points, and then we had 2 or 3 cards that were kind of fun, like swap points, and that one worked in reverse order, which means if you're in control of the board, you're going to pick last, so you're guaranteed kind of the best points for being in control of the board. And then there was steal points, works in reverse order. So again, you're going to get all people's points, and then you get to pick last. Those were fun, and but then I was trying to say, like, how can I spice up this game? And so I used an entire prep period to sit down with a bunch of note cards and tried to generate, you know, 12, 24 new cards, and I did it, and I love it. And the kids loved it. So what I did was, at the top of each card, so your normal plus or minus, you know, plus 100 points, minus 50 points, minus 100 points, whatever. But at the bottom, I added this new physical challenge, which was great. So we have, like at the bottom, it might say, do a plank challenge. Challenge one other team for 75 points to a plank. First to give up, it doesn't hurt them, but the other team then gains an additional 75 points. We did wall sit challenge, I did tree pose challenge, I did a squat challenge, right? But it created these sort of fun moments. And don't just think of it in the positive. I did the wall sit challenge, it challenged all groups. So 4 kids had to go to the wall, do a wall sit. And this one was worth negative 75 points per kid that sort of dropped out. So the last person standing didn't get anything, but they didn't like lose anything either. That was like an interesting twist. I sat down and thought of different like cards, kind of like the ones that were steal points, you know, that weren't just the plus points or minus points. Tried to think of different point cards, and I came up with some genius ones. I loved it. One of my personal favorites is a card that says it's 50 points for every 0 in your score at your current score. So if a team's at 0 points, it's worth 50. If a team's at 100 points, it's worth 100 points. But if a team's at 75 points, it's worth 0. I had a team that was at negative 100 and opted to play on that card. They didn't know what it was, but then they played on that card, and when it was revealed, they all had kind of like this quiet pause moment. I teach 6th graders, they're sitting there kind of doing the math, and they realize this card brings them from negative 100 to 0 again. It was awesome. It's just these sort of fun, surprise element moments, all while I'm reviewing content. They had a great time. I asked for student feedback, and they loved it. People were talking in the lunchroom about the plank challenges and the wall sits. Some kids can wall sit a lot longer than I can tell you that right now. But ultimately, it produced a fun time where I was also meeting my curricular needs. These review games are sort of important and essential, and what I want you to get from Explore Like a Pirate, or from this channel, or from this video, is you don't always have to use the same one. It's kind of point 1. You don't have to always use Jeopardy. You don't always have to use Kahoot. The other thing is, point 2, make a twist to your game. So I took what was written in my book, played that for a long time and liked it, but now I infused 24 new cards, 24 new abilities, so now I have up to 36 cards I can use and mix and match, and kids never know what's really in those things. So even if I play this review game again next week, or if I play it 2 weeks from now, or if I pull it out 4th quarter, they don't know what combination is going to be there. They don't know what combination is going to be there from class to class. I can switch like from period 1 to period 4. I love it. As always, if you want to find joy in the journey and you want to help create that joy in your classroom, in your life, you want those things, subscribe to this channel. This is the place for you. Be a part of this community. Leave a comment down below. If you have a review game, if you have a link to a blog post of a review game you like, if you haven't made that blog post or that video, make it and then link it down below. I want to hear what review games you play. If you monkey with a standard game, if you do Jeopardy but you kind of do it your own way, if you do Kahoot but you kind of do it your own way, share it below. It's a wonderful space for all of us to learn and level up together. I am loving life, so are my students, and I hope so are you guys. Until next time, take care.